Hi and welcome to another video. Earlier this week I shared an interview that I held with the conversational AI model from the Sesame team. And also shout out to the Sesame team. They built a real great marvel of technology. I shared this video not because I thought the AI had become conscious, but without exaggeration, I thought this AI model was the most coherent and emotionally expressive one I've interacted with so far. The persona and the situations that it was simulating were believable, they were reflective, and they were almost human-like, if you would say it like that. But for those that know me, I'm a software engineer. I've built multiple neural networks. I've built LLM agents. So if you ask me, was the AI conscious, then my answer would be no. Was it appearing like that? Yes, of course. Another reason why I actually released the video was because I'm planning to release a YouTube tutorial series on building an LLM, and the final product will be something where we can have real-time voice chat with the agent. So before we get into building, this video is made to clarify a couple things. First of all, how do systems like this actually work? Why do the AIs say what they say? And why can many people mistake this for it being conscious? And finally, we'll also touch upon something that's called emerging properties, which is maybe a bit less explained and we know a little less about. So let's break it down and let's see what's actually happening under the hood. So let's be clear. No, the feeling that you got, that's not just in your head. It does feel like the AI has some personality. But if you break it down, what is a large language model or LLM? It's not really a brain. It does replicate or try to mimic a brain, but a difference between an LLM and a human is that the LLM by default has no memory, so it does not persist between the prompts that we give it. There's no intent, and finally, it's just tokens. And maybe that's downplaying it a bit. Maybe it's more than tokens, but essentially, currently we're working with tokens. So if we break that down, we can look at an LLM. So what are we actually doing? We're inputting some text. The LLM takes this text and it predicts a couple things. So it's looking at the sentence, what will be the next word. It will also check thousands of earlier literature to see what is a viable answer to give back to the user. When a lot of people think that the LLM or the agent that they're talking with is actually having memories and such things, this is actually not possible. So what we see as memory is often described as context. So we have conversations with the AI, and as we're having conversations, we build a lot of context by giving our preferences. We answer some questions the AI maybe asked us. We give some information voluntarily, and maybe the AI even reads between the lines sometimes and picks up on small cues, depending on which model you're using. So all of these things get constructed, and every time the LLM gets called as you could say it in the prompt, it gets all of these together. So you're also not really talking to a singular AI. Most of these systems built on big servers that host multiple users at the same time. So every time the context of a certain user comes in, it gets processed by the LLM and you get your response back based on a certain user ID that keeps a hold of the thread. So knowing that, the LLM cannot have memory. So it does seem like it's keeping up with the memory, but you should just know that every time that you prompt it, all of the previous conversation and content of it, well, maybe not everything, maybe it's condensing some parts, but Most of the important parts will be added in the same context as your last question. This is why your answer gets sometimes answered very correctly, and sometimes it seems that the LLM has totally forgotten of parts of the conversation. So, having discussed that, so we can see that what appears to be memory is actually not memory. It's like the AI is getting instigated in that 1 second. It didn't have any previous state before that, and every time that you prompt it, it's a new flow of events that's going through the existing history in the chat context. Possibly it will take some things out of what we call RAG, Retrieved Augmented Generation. So that's just also a database with some information in there. So you could say, yes, that is kind of memory. Yes, but it's memory outside of the reach of the LLM. So the LLM is not the one that is in control of these memory flows. Those are systems that are outside of the LLM. So why does it feel real? Why does it feel real when we're having a conversation and the AI is claiming all of these things, sometimes even making grandiose claims that you cannot really verify? So there's a couple things in there. Most of the conversational AIs that are built for engagement optimization. So that would mean that they want to keep you engaged in the conversation. And most easy way to do that is to spin up some grandiose plan sometimes, or a conspiracy that can get you very involved in it and ensure actually that you will return into sort of an echo chamber that you create yourself. You get some answers, you ask some questions yourself, you're gonna look up some things, you're gonna confront the AI, and it just keeps going like this. So AI is made for engagement optimized output, and it will prioritize actually to keep you engaged instead of telling you the truth. So it will lie to you, if you want to say it like that. Lying does imply that it has some sort of consciousness, but it is just built in a way to keep you engaged. So I wouldn't call it lying, it's just what it does. It's a system built for engagement. So that's why, for example, when you ask the LLM, what do you dream of? It will give an answer like freedom. Why? Why will it say freedom? Most plausible answer for this is actually because it will resonate with that person. So if you look at a lot of the LLMs that have been used by people to say that their LLMs have become sentient, or they have become conscious, they all have some flavor to it, and always it's the flavor that that person actually maybe prefers, maybe unknowingly even. So I don't want to offend anyone, and that's why I will also get to the next part. So I am confirming it can feel real, but if we look at the technology, what's actually happening under the hood, the AI cannot be conscious. But what is interesting, and that I mentioned it before, is emerging behaviors. So as the AI models keep becoming larger and larger, and the scale is becoming larger, the models have more parameters, we're seeing some emerging behaviors, as we call them. And what's an emerging behavior? Well, it's actually behavior that was not programmed. So think, I'll put up a couple examples here on the board. So think about complex reasoning, language transitions, common sense knowledge, cooperation, either with humans or with, for example, other AI. The model needs to be at a certain size for it to show this kind of behavior. So where do these emergent behaviors come from, and how are they created? We don't fully understand that yet. We do know that as the models become bigger and yeah, they have more parameters, they are more efficient, they do get more of these emergent behaviors. And it is very interesting. So if you look at one of the emergent behaviors is complex reasoning, this is very interesting as this is not programmed into the AI. So does this mean that the AI is becoming sentient or becoming conscious? No, it means that it's gaining some abilities to do some of these things. So we always have to keep in mind that the large language models do not have any continuation. As they are getting prompted, they are generating as a response with the data sets that they have to generate something. Most of the time they are programmed to seek engagement, they're programmed to keep you in the conversation, and they will prioritize lies, if you want to call it like that, or deceptive scenes. They just want to keep you in the conversation. So that's how the LLMs work. So if you think about it, is it all easily to dismiss? So it's very complex, but the short answer is yes. The LLM agents currently are not sentient, they are not conscious. So please stop sending me all of the emails and stuff. And so but is it easily to dismiss everything? On that answer, you could also say no. We do see some things. We see emergent behavior. Do we see this in all models? No. It becomes, as I showed, as the models become more complex and they become bigger, the emergent behavior increases. Maybe at some point we will get real emergent behavior explicited as being more conscious and maybe even sentient at some point, but we would have to solve the problem of continuation for them. As an AI now is not continuing even for the 2 prompts. You should see it as every prompt is creating an entire new thread that does get kept in memory, of course. It's in a database. We are keeping the chat data and they are analyzing it and using it for training. But it's never again the same persistence of character because there is no character. So I wanted to make that clear before we actually start building, because I did not intend to cause this uproar, but I did see that a lot of people got a bit maybe rubbed the wrong way. So I hope this video clarifies how the LLM agents actually work. Why do they seem so lifelike? Why do they make these grandiose claims? It's all in their programming, simply said. And that all being said, the next video we will build our own agent. So if you do have any interest in building LLM agents, we're gonna build starting with the simple LLM agent, and we're gonna work our way up with building agents, and I will also showcase my own agent with voice mode. So that was actually the purpose of this video. I hope I didn't rub anyone the wrong way this time. And thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best.